opens. The first thing we'll find is a complementary, and then we have all the individual parts. They're all packed. As it comes packed, it actually has the river and the cylinder and the needles in it all ready to go. Have our extra needles.
Very well packed for shipment.
This is a counter, which is an optional accessory.
What is it? Let's see.
That's the counter. And the machine comes out with this little case, or a little stand. And as I mentioned earlier, that can be left in, secured into the box.
Beautiful. This side is going up some. So you're clamping it on the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful color. What is this one called?
It's called Dragon's Blood.
Let's see if I can get it. Oh yeah, there we go. It's hard to see the metallic in here, but it is beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, so the only thing we need to do now is actually put on the crank
Those are
wheel,
dangerous.
the counter, and assemble the mast and the topper, and she's ready to go.
Okay.
So the mast has two different ends. One end is more or less flat. The other end has got a bit of a rounded end, goes up top.
Oh, and you put a nameplate on every 22nd machine.
2019.
All right, and it's got Ellen's name on it. Beautiful. Nice touch.
Wheel just slips on. Now you can set this wherever you want, depending on your preference. The only thing is to make sure that the counterweight and the lobe for the river doesn't interfere. So since this one has been ordered with a counter, we'll install the counter at the same time. Counter comes with one fat washer, and that goes on the inside. The screw with the retaining washer goes through the counter as such, with the fat washer here on the inside, and then that just goes right on the hub.
Beautiful counter.
Okay, so all we do is just support the counter with your hand like that. Tighten the screw up, and as it's becoming tight, just sort of squeeze the counter in towards the hub a little bit. You set it at whatever angle you find comfortable for viewing.
And then you want the teeth on the bottom wheel
Yeah,
to mesh with those threads?
That's right. When you squeeze it together, it'll pull it together, and it'll engage the teeth. And then there should be just a slight bit of backlash when you wiggle the gear back and forth. So when we turn it, should turn. Now to adjust the pointer where you want your starting point, all you do is move the pointer itself. 100 is the 0 point, and then it starts counting up from there.
Beautiful.
And obviously when you're doing a heel and going backwards, the counter moves backwards as well. So you're not going to be registering rows when you're doing a heel.
And Dave, tell her about your handle.
The handle is made from Canadian hardwood from the forest on my farm.
So you even made that?
Yeah. So we cut a chunk of firewood, and when it's good and dry, then we turn it on the lathe to the shape and stain it, and there's about 12 coats of lacquer on it, so it's got a really nice warm feel to it.
So that's your little piece of Canada that you take with you.
And the one thing about this handle is, it doesn't seem like it, but it's much more comfortable to crank than a machine with a smaller handle. It fits the hand better, you get a better grip, it makes it to turn easier. And also this part of the machine here, the crank handle itself, is a little bit longer than on some machines. So you're cranking a little further around, if I was to exaggerate, but it makes it easier to crank as well.
Now, do you think the counterweight, instinctively, I would think the counterweight would help in cranking as well?
It does. It's intended to keep the handle wherever you leave it if you take your hand off the machine. But the other nice thing about it is if you're setting up like a river, for example, and you just want to advance the machine ever so slightly, you know how sometimes it won't go and then all of a sudden it goes too far?
Yeah.
Well, with this, you've got a nice little handle to use two hands to move it just that slight amount if
So
you
it gives
want.
you that precision.
Interesting, I didn't know that. I'll remember that. Good tip. And now you are putting on,
Just attaching the, should to go together nice and tight. Normally it comes with the heel spring just slipped under the brake. Just take that off and she's ready to go.
okay, can we, what size cylinders did you get?
A 64 and a 72, I believe.
Okay, 72 with a 32.
So that would
And
be
a
the 64 with
64.
the 32, and what's on here is a 72, is that correct?
A 72 with an equal slot Riverdale, 72, 72. The yarn carrier
And
is
I
slotted.
wanted everything slotted.
Yep, everything has a slot. It's got a little pigtail on the back right here. So your yarn doesn't pop out. What else comes with the machine, Dave?
D, all of the above. I mean, there's
Um,
a pick tool,
all right,
a hook,
two.
yeah, the
We
pick
might
tool,
be able to clamp the machine on here. I'll put the weight at least.
And bottle of oil, the buckle,
Three
weight
weights.
stack,
fork weights,
full set of needles,
stem weights, 2 full sets of needles.
ripper,
There's needles for your biggest cylinder plus a few extra, and then 50 rubber needles. No, we should have set up basket,
set up basket.
and there should be some heel weights.
And where are your heel weights?
Oh,
That's right. The yarn.
and look at that buckle.
Isn't that beautiful?
That beautiful. Can you see the red in that?
Let's see. Let's see that way. Okay, and 3 rather dangerous,
You know
but
what?
very effective heel weights.
You know what I've always wanted to, and if I'm going to,
And that is the Schomburg AccuKnitter 400.